and I'll leave the floor to Kristin from Google. So for those who just joined, if you want to ask questions, you have a square, circle, and triangle button on the bottom right of your screen. Click on it, and then you can ask your question through that channel. Thank you, Kristin.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And in the sake of time, let's get right into the content here. Talking about what we would call the AI-powered car buyer journey. And my first question is actually why do you need AI to sell cars? And I think it's just the level of complexity you're facing. And that's true for any AI problem. Think about you have about 900 data points when we measure it that get generated across all of the touch points of your ecosystem when people buy a car. Also, this is not linear anymore. We see people going deep into a model, a specific offer, backing out, totally changing their mind and everything. So you got a lot of data, and you got a lot of data that's not even linear, but it's very messy. And then think about new ownership models. When you buy or lease in a 5-year cycle, you go once, twice through this process. If you move to subscription, you go through this, and every 6 months you exchange your car. You go through this process 10 times as much in the same time period. And then you got more and more customer data generated from charging, connected vehicles, and so on. So what has already been a very, very complex challenge is becoming even more complex. And that's a typical thing where human minds aren't so good at. Our minds are good at solving linear problems with a limited set of data. But if you got a lot of data and it's nonlinear, actually AI is way more efficient here. And that I think why AI is really, really important to be able to sell cars, but also to build successful brands in the future. At Google, we see AI as a really transformative industry. We even consider it what we would say is the third big shift. The first big shift was the internet when computers got connected. The second big shift was mobile, when you could take the internet with you in your pocket. And now the AI is a technology that can help computers to execute specific tasks. I'm not talking about generative AI, general AI. I'm just talking about specific tasks as good as or better than a human. And I think that's a really, really, really good definition to also think about what is AI. Think about a specific task executed as good as or better than a human could do it. Also, when you think about AI, I know there's a lot of talk about generative AI, in particular since last fall. And a lot of the new releases of the technology have been around generative AI. But also there's analytical AI that's just working with numbers, with data, with structured data, anything that would fit in a table. And I think like our brain, our left side of the brain is more the analytical side, and the right side of our brain is more the creative side. These both sides need to work together. And one of the first things when you're actually thinking about what type of AI can solve what type of my problems, would always think, is this more analytical? Am I working with structured data with numbers here? Or am I working with unstructured data, so text, video, audio files? In this case, it would be generative AI. And then across all types of AI, we always see 4 very generic use cases. It's about synthesizing data. You got a lot of data. It can also be a lot of text, a lot of images, and where you want to make sense out of it. It's making predictions. You have a lot of data about a certain behavior, and you want to get a new data set, and you want to predict how this data set will behave. You can combine a lot of elements to new content in never seen before combinations. Or you can make of things that were numbers a text, or what was text a conversation, what was just a conversation and vision. So you just can make the entire interaction with computers much more human-like. And I think these are, so if you think about what type of AI, and these 4 basic use cases, you already have a good idea of thinking about, okay, could AI help me here, or could AI not? We see AI as a business tool. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's my proposal to treat it also for this conversation. And I work with big car manufacturers, I work with dealer groups, I work with platforms. And across all of this, there are 4 principles that emerged on what's a good AI-based business transformation, in particular sales and marketing agenda. And the first thing is what I would call bring two worlds together. So you all know your business best, but as you've just seen the example with the left and right side of the brain and the archetypes, also to get an understanding, a basic understanding of the technology. So you can match and say, this is a use case for AI, and this maybe is not. Maybe this is not where I should employ this technology. But here it really has significant business impact or improving my product, services, operations. The second also, and that's very important, is what we say the best training data set wins. So every AI is only as good as the data as it's trained on. And nobody has better data about your business, your customers, your operations than you. So nobody can train an AI better to represent your business. And you're not competing with AI. Actually, the AI you train is competing with the AIs your competitors train. So make sure you have the best possible set so that your AI performs best in the competition out there. The third, what I say you can start right now. So AI is already built into many products. You don't necessarily need to have an army of machine learning engineers and data scientists, even so it helps to have these skills. But a lot of products, you can use it off the shelf. And lastly, what's very important also for Google when we say be bold and responsible. So AI is a great technology, but it also can intentionally or unintentionally produce bad results. And to make sure to protect people, society, but also you as a business from this. And I think these are the four general principles. I want to give you an example for each of them. Bringing two worlds together. What have we already talked about the left side and the right side of the brain? The other thing is also to make sure that the AI you employ is used for enterprise use cases. Whereas if you use, for example, BART or ChatGPT, these models are trained to be innovative, creative, to help you do a Valentine's or Christmas poem or anything like this. But they also can hallucinate, and they are just trained on the general knowledge. If, for example, you would train a large language model to represent the service manuals that are in your cars, you don't want hallucination. You want it to be a specialist on your technical knowledge. And you can do this if you would choose an enterprise version of it. You can reduce creativity or hallucination versus being very, very deterministic. And you can train it really on your data, which would be a model which actually you would own and control. And I think that's really important. If you're using it for enterprise grade, make sure the technology is also enterprise grade. The second, remember, data is the tunnels which the AI sees the world. So use data that presents your use case or your business problem in an entirety. If this is what you show the AI, it will say, oh, great, I can drive down this road. If this is the truth, it will still try to go down the road because it doesn't know better. It's not part of its reality. So really think about what are the right training data sets which you have in your company for your specific use cases, and do they present the problem truly? Also very important, if you work in sales and marketing, think about that customer data will be first-party consented in the future. Digital Markets Act is coming. Chrome browsers start to deprecate third-party cookies in the beginning of this year and will deprecate all third-party cookies by the end of 2024. So you need to have a first-party consent management data infrastructure to even be able to have customer data that can train any AI that's working customer-facing. Very important also is, I think, how you think about advertising overall. And the paradigm has really developed. You used to invest into spaces. Like everybody who watches Super Bowl or watches the World Cup or whatever would see your ad. Totally independent if you're in market for a car or not. Then you move to investing in audiences. I want everyone in market for a new car to click my ad or see my ad. But you still wouldn't know what would actually happen after the click or the view. Are these people really buying or not? And they're in market for a car, but are they in market for your car? So now we're moving to investing in objectives. So you actually, if you connect the AI and the entire ecosystem to what really happens on your sales side, and you know the margins and the revenue behind it, it can buy you actions that directly drive lead sales and your profit. So for example, you know that your margin per car is $1,000. A car configuration converts 10 to 1. You would ask the AI to buy you, so one configuration contributes $100 then. You would ask the AI to buy you configurations up to $99.99. Not more, because this is where profitability stops. Also very important, placements, yes. Spaces, yes, you could manually control where your ad would show. So you control what's the input and the algorithm, the placements. The result was the output. With AI, you don't control the algorithm anymore because it's way too complex. You control the input and the output. And then you loop an experiment until you have the desired result. Now, people very often challenge on this and say, but I still want control. I want to control the algorithm. Let me show you why this is really, really difficult. And this is, yeah, because what is the algorithm? And this is a very, very, very simple example. This is from my machine learning engineering classes. You can play around and build a little neural network here. Very simple. It would just predict if you would add a data point to its well on the right, would it be blue or would it be orange? And you already can see this trained model here. And you can see all the neurons in this super simple neural network. And I think there's no way, and it took 731 training loops or epochs to get to this. There's no way manually you would say, and the second neuron in the second layer, I want to change this here. You don't. This is all self-learned. You give the input, and then it goes out and see if you're, if you're happy with the results. And now think about, this is just a two-dimensional picture. Think about the complexity of the advertising ecosystem, of your sales system. And already here, intervening manually in the algorithm is pretty much impossible. And now take this as a way, way, way higher magnitude. So if you work with AI products, there's just a different way how to work with them. At Google, we have 5 products that are AI powered. Here they are: Broad Match, Performance Max, Dimension, Video Reach, and Video Action campaigns. All of them have different targets, from really sales lead generation, more to reach or brand awareness, brand lift target. And again, you tell the AI what you want. The AI optimizes for it. You measure, you improve until you have results you're happy with. A few case studies, which I'm going to fast forward through. So we worked with Seat Cupra. The target was to fill store visits. We worked with Ken Garff, a big dealer group in the US across 6 states, to increase sales conversions. We worked, just another example, with LVMH, Tag Heuer, also to help them increase watch sales. Toyota in Italy to create consideration for their cars using Dimension, which is a mid-funnel product. And 2 examples from VW in Mexico on AI-powered YouTube campaigns. One for actions, so really conversion actions that lead to their site. And the other one more just getting awareness and video views. And the important thing about these cases is the baseline. You always wonder, so okay, you got 20%, whatever percent improvement. It's usually versus the non-AI powered version of Google products they used before. And that gives you a good idea, and you usually see a double to triple digit improvement. And that just gives you an idea of, if you employ this correctly, how powerful the technology can be. Lastly, bold and responsible. Yes, think about AI being a technology that just repeats what it learns. So you want to make sure that when you use AI, that it has already been pre-trained and checked to be factually correct, to not produce harmful content, like having a racial or gender bias or anything else, to also make sure to protect your brand when you ask the AI to represent your brand out there. So one example, if you use the Google products, the enterprise grade to produce pictures of which you can use as advertising assets, there is a fail-safe built in there that it will not create competitive logos in the background, because you don't want it, right? I mean, you don't suddenly want to put your competitor's logo in the background of your own ad and then get into unpleasant conversations when you put it out there. So really think about also whatever technology partner you use, is their AI also checked for responsibility and built for responsibility? Again, for people, society, but in a commercial aspect also for protecting your brand. Overall, we think this technology has massive opportunity. I think the AI you see today is the worst AI you've ever seen. There's still way more to come. So we're happy to develop further on this road together with the entire auto industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. We also have one question here that I thought maybe we throw out to everyone. So from Diva, we know that in today's world, customization is the need of the hour. Everybody is looking for a customized car. Well, while doing so, it becomes a challenge for the OEM to be profitable while doing so. Could you please share your inputs on how this can be done, considering the profitability factor? Maybe Raphael, as you talked a lot about customization.
Yes. I mean, it's true that, it does have an impact on the, profitability. Having said that, more and more the way we build cars and we think about cars are modular, in nature. So, the customization already is kind of, thought, upstream, in advance, so to speak. And then, of course, you've got the software, defined vehicle, which is much easier, to customize with the skin layers, with basically, data, as opposed to just changing the physical hardware of the car. So, between the mix of accessories, between the modular aspect of the manufacturing process, as well as the digital growing digital aspect of the car, I think it's becoming more and more possible without hurting the profitability too much to deliver on the promise of individualizing basically the experience. And the product is also an experience that is, like I said, phygital. So you can change the sound that you experience inside the car without having to produce a new engine. So there are ways to go around it.
Thank you for that. I hope that answered the question.